I was watching one of your LinkedIn posts and you were on the golf course. I was like, I'm wondering if he's heading the thing on the wrong direction. And it just popped in my head.
I've done it. I've done that more than once. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I show up to the golf
That's
course and I have to make sure I have at least 18 balls. So that tells you how good I am.
yeah, at least you're trying, man. You're trying. That's good.
Yeah.
Me and my it's funny, it's we got talking about golf quickly. Me and my classmate in dental school, we wanted to pick up golf when we were in Utah. We were dental students, we were broke. We used to put a cup in our apartment hallway and we used to shoot it inside of the cup. That was our little practice.
I thankfully found a flea market near my house that sells used golf balls. So I'm pretty sure there's like kids going around finding them in the woods. They're probably finding
I
half of mine that I've lost and selling them back to me.
Hey, I heard it's a big business, man. They go pick
I'm
up the
telling you.
leftover balls and sell them back to people. I seen it.
I one time was at a golf course and I realized I didn't have enough balls and they had a barrel of used balls. And one of them, I'm not kidding you, had my initials on it. So I know that I lost that ball. They found it and I had to rebuy it for $1.50. It was really, really irritating.
That's crazy. That is funny. Well, Jay, thank you so much for coming on, man. I know we've been trying to get you on. You're a busy man with your show, with what you guys doing with Perfect Fit Ortho. I truly appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm glad we could finally connect.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jay, the first question that we ask, Masood always asks this question. I'm gonna ask it this time again because last time I did too. Well, how did you end up in dentistry?
Boy, that's a $1 million question. I was I was in the army and I got deployed. So I was gone for about just shy of 18 months. When I got back, I was actually trying to find a buddy of mine that I used to work with. And when I got home, I went to look for him and they were like, oh, he doesn't work here anymore. He works for a company called All Care Dental, which is kind of dating me a little bit. Some people are familiar, some are not. So I went and met him up there at All Care Dental. We had lunch and he said, hey, man, I really think this would be good for you. I think you would be good at it. You should start looking around in the dental industry. So I did. I was at the time, the youngest office manager of All Care, excuse me, when I started there. And that was in 2008. And then from there, I've done de novos, buy and sell, operate.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Dentment. Masood, I don't know, what has it been? Year and a half? It feels like yesterday. Yep.
Soon
Well,
going to be 10.
I know, man. Woo. Well, today's guest is Mr. Jay Hogan, someone who making a real impact in the DSO world by delivering a turnkey virtual orthodontic solution for general dentists and DSO, helping the practices unlock growth without adding complexity. When he's not transforming orthodontics workflow, you'll probably find him chasing a golf ball in the wrong direction or breaking down a college football matchup like a true expert. If you love innovation, smart scaling, and little competitive fun, this episode is for you. Mr. J, welcome.
Thank you. That's probably the best intro I've ever received. So I appreciate it.
I was watching one of your LinkedIn posts and you were on the golf course. I was like, I'm wondering if he's heading the thing on the wrong direction. And it just popped in my head.
I've done it. I've done that more than once. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I show up to the golf
That's
course and I have to make sure I have at least 18 balls. So that tells you how good I am.
yeah, at least you're trying, man. You're trying. That's good.
Yeah.
Me and my it's funny, it's we got talking about golf quickly. Me and my classmate in dental school, we wanted to pick up golf when we were in Utah. We were dental students, we were broke. We used to put a cup in our apartment hallway and we used to shoot it inside of the cup. That was our little practice.
I thankfully found a flea market near my house that sells used golf balls. So I'm pretty sure there's like kids going around finding them in the woods. They're probably finding
I
half of mine that I've lost and selling them back to me.
Hey, I heard it's a big business, man. They go pick
I'm
up the
telling you.
leftover balls and sell them back to people. I seen it.
I one time was at a golf course and I realized I didn't have enough balls and they had a barrel of used balls. And one of them, I'm not kidding you, had my initials on it. So I know that I lost that ball. They found it and I had to rebuy it for $1.50. It was really, really irritating.
That's crazy. That is funny. Well, Jay, thank you so much for coming on, man. I know we've been trying to get you on. You're a busy man with your show, with what you guys doing with Perfect Fit Ortho. I truly appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm glad we could finally connect.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jay, the first question that we ask, Masood always asks this question. I'm gonna ask it this time again because last time I did too. Well, how did you end up in dentistry?
Boy, that's a $1 million question. I was I was in the army and I got deployed. So I was gone for about just shy of 18 months. When I got back, I was actually trying to find a buddy of mine that I used to work with. And when I got home, I went to look for him and they were like, oh, he doesn't work here anymore. He works for a company called All Care Dental, which is kind of dating me a little bit. Some people are familiar, some are not. So I went and met him up there at All Care Dental. We had lunch. And he said, hey, man, I really think this would be good for you. I think you would be good at it. You should start looking around in the dental industry. So I did. I was at the time, the youngest office manager of All Care, excuse me, when I started there. And that was in 2008. And then from there, I've done de novos, buy and sell, operations, you name it. I've been in specialty, pedo, endo, surgical, ER. And then I started working with Dr. Ilana Bramowitz as his kind of COO for his dental group, his ortho group. And then that's kind of where Perfect Fit Ortho was born. So it's been a long, weird journey. And people always talk about how small dentistry is, but it's crazy. I ran into someone not too long ago inadvertently, and they remembered working with me in Columbus, Ohio back in 2009. And I think I met them I think it was in Vegas or something like that. It's a very crazy small world. But yeah, if you had told me at, 15 or 16 that this would be what I would be doing, I would have called you a liar.
And Jay, one more question. How did you get yourself into what was the motivation that got you into the wings game?
So I've been on, and I mean, you guys know it. You have a podcast. I've been on tons of podcasts, some better than others, and I just wanted to. I tend to be a disruptor, in more ways than one. If you ask my wife, she would probably have a lot of feedback on that statement. But I like to just do different things, and I wanted to try to find a way to put people. I don't want to say a precarious position, but I think that in dentistry and in all forms of life, people need to know who you are, what you're about before they care what you do. And I felt that a lot of times with podcasts, it's almost an infomercial where someone just comes on, they talk about what they do and why you should buy their stuff or work with them or what have you. And sure, I want to give people an opportunity to do that part, but I just want to meet interesting people who work in dentistry and I want to watch them sweat a little bit. I want to ask them about the time that they, had a hangover and got sick behind a dumpster at Taco Bell when they were in college, and then ask them how they grow I'll practice 10x. Like, I just wanted to find a way to do that. And I think when you're eating these wings that get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, it lowers your guards. It makes people answer more directly, more honestly. Sometimes they say things they don't necessarily think they wanted to at the time. But I will tell you this, when we shoot these episodes, when it says action until the final wing and they say their goodbye, there's no edits. There's nothing cut. We don't take breaks. I don't edit anything out. People cuss sometimes. We just encourage people to be themselves, and the feedback has been great. We shot one with Lauren Garneau, who I think might currently be mad at me. So Lauren, I love you. We shot one with her, and then we released it the week before Dykema. And I remember walking down the hallways with her at Dykema, and people coming up to her had no idea what she did for a living or what company she worked for, but they knew she had been on hot wings and dental things. And that's what I want to get out of it. I just want to help people get exposure and have a good time and do something a little bit different in the process.
What's been the most dramatic experience with someone? You don't have to name her or him.
One of the episodes we just shot was the first time that someone got up and started pacing because of the heat, which I found very funny. Sarah Ruberg was our very first episode that we ever shot, and she brought a change of clothes because she was afraid that something bad might happen to her. It's funny, some of the things people do to prepare. Some people bring lemons or Pepto-Bismol or Tums. I mean, we keep a lot of that stuff, honestly, ready for the guests now, we've learned. It's gotten hot. One episode, one of the people we had on touched their eyes, which we always tell them, don't touch your face. And he had hot sauce on his finger and it touched his eye, and that, made things a little bit emotional for him, but it's a great time. I'll tell you the most challenging part of it for me is I eat these wings too. Like, no one get it twisted. I'm eating the same wing as you, I'm experiencing the same thing you are. The difference is I got to hold it together. I've got to ask you questions. I got to remember where the hell we are and what's happening next while, I'm clenching in all parts of my body that I don't want to mention. It's a rough time, but I do love it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of preparation, but we've had a great time. I'll give you a tiny little teaser. We've got, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're releasing Brian Kaleo's episode from Dykema. He was on and he was very funny and very insightful. It's a great time. Milad, I'm going to get you down here. The biggest challenge with our podcast is this. It has to be shot on location. We can't shoot it via, Zoom or Riverside or anything else. You've got to be, in the words of the great musical Hamilton, you got to be in the room where it happens.
He
Definitely, man.
literally, I think, unintentionally just said on our podcast, Doctor.
I pretty much the whole time as he's going, I'm like, man, that sounds like a torture chamber more than anything else.
Real funny when
Yeah, if I come, I definitely need to have a diaper.
And Jay, has it gotten any easier for you since you started, like since the first episode with Sarah till now? Is it still the same level of hardness every time you eat those wings?
I genuinely did think that the more that I did it, the easier it would get. The only thing I think is easier is I'm mentally prepared now. I know what's coming, but the physical reaction to it is always the same. It has never changed. It's always as hot or as miserable. I mean, there's a couple of the sauces, at least in the, we change the seasons or the wings based on how many episodes we shoot. We change the sauces, but there are a couple sauces that we currently have. It's not that they're necessarily overly hot. I just don't like them. So there's always there's that complexity of it as well. And the other thing, I match your energy. So for instance, if you take a bite of a wing, I'm going to take a bite of a wing. If you clean a wing, I'm going to clean a wing. If you drink milk, I'm drinking milk. I want to have a shared experience with you. We had a guest once that realized that about halfway through and just started cleaning wings, refused to drink anything out of spite, just to make me suffer the way that they were suffering. So it's very interesting, but it's a lot of fun, and we always eat whatever the guest wants. So sometimes we'll be eating boneless wings, or sometimes we're eating like tofu wings if they're a vegetarian, or, we try to accommodate as much as we can, but it's definitely a lot more work than I thought. We probably, once it's shot and it's filmed, I'll probably get 2 cuts of it to review and edit as far as which camera angles we want to use and the sound effects and the graphics. I mean, it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. I tend to build a plane while I'm flying it sometimes, and this has definitely been one of those times.
That's awesome, man. Well, as you're talking, I'm starting to sweat.
I can't wait. I'll tell you, I cannot wait. You tell me when. We send you a form, you fill it out, you have to sign a waiver. So in case you have a heart attack, you can't be mad at me. But, I'd love to have you. I promise you, you'll have a great time. And then the ironic part is after we're done, we normally go somewhere and eat some real food and like have a libation and reminisce.
That's funny, man. I love it. Well, Jay, we had the one thing I'm really wanted to ask you, because we have had this conversation before. What I like about what you guys are doing with Perfect Fit Ortho is that you guys are really providing that one-on-one service with the dentist. How has been the feedback that you've been getting from the dentist? Because what we care about is that we want to make sure that the patient part of it is being taken care of, things are being handled, the patient experience has been good. I know that you guys are not in the office, but you guys are kind of hands-on in the background trying to make sure that things are being processed for the patient. So how has that been experienced as far as, since you guys are not in the practice, how has that experience been for the dentist as far as you guys being like away, but yet providing that service that it's going to give the patient the best patient care possible?
I think I think it's been really good, but also I'm not naive. There is a certain level of change management that takes place in any organization, whether you have one office or you have 2,000 offices. Once clients, we call them our clients, once our doctors or the dentists understand the workflow and understand how it should be done, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. It's very, doctors like it a lot because number one, they have the confidence and the understanding of how it works. They know that they've got an orthodontist that's standing behind it from start to finish. They know what they're getting into before they make a commitment, right? I don't know if you knew this or not, Milad, but we offer a virtual chairside consult. So if you have Masood in the chair and they're there for a 6-month recall or they're a new patient, you're going to send us his photos. You're going to know in 15 minutes what's going to be required of you, what's going to be required of the patient, how long they're going to be in treatment, and what if your treatment goals are going to get accomplished. So that's huge. There, once in a while we tell the doctor, hey, look, yeah, you can do it. It's going to take 30 months. You're going to need to do IPR between every mandibular tooth. They're going to need to wear elastics and attachments. We recommend you just refer this case out. It's not going to be worth your time. Roughly 85% of consults that we get chairside, the doctors treat. And if you think about it, God forbid you do the math, ADA says almost 80% of the population needs ortho. GPs present to less than 20% of them, not treat, just present treatment plans to them. You had one case a week, one ortho case that you'd be referring out, you do yourself. That's an extra $250,000 of revenue in your practice. And I'm sure there's some ballers and shot callers out there that don't need an extra $250,000, but I would take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we'll all take it. So when it comes to treatment planning it, because you said, because typically when we work with Invisalign, so I'm Invisalign certified, I have to take the case, send it to them, wait for them to send me the design. So how is the process chairside when we send the picture? How is that process? Because you said it comes back in 15 minutes. That sounds very efficient. So how did you guys come up with that model that it comes back so quick?
Well, the benefit was because we had brick and mortar ortho practices, we kind of understood the, behind the scenes a little bit. Good, bad, or indifferent, data is more valuable than oil now, right? If you think about the Cambridge Analytica scandals and all the data leaks that are happening and people's information being sold and data collection, data. Every aligner manufacturer on earth, there's over 75 of them now. They want you to scan every patient. The reason is they want the data. They want to be able to refine their processes, refine their systems, and they think that the feel of the wheel will seal the deal. You show them the simulation, that'll work. Well, 9.5 times out of 10, the simulation that you're showing that patient chairside is not going to be the actual outcome for that patient because you're going to do multiple revisions to that ClinCheck or that iOrtho setup or whatever the case may be. So we said, and the way we'd always did it in our practices was we didn't scan patients unless they made a commitment to treatment. So if a patient made a financial commitment to treatment, now we're going to scan them, we're going to commit, we're going to send this in, and we're going to get started on it. So one of the main differences is an orthodontist sees every one of these photos that you're sending in. So when you send us these ortho records, whether it's 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or 6:30 p.m. Pacific Coast Time, and your office is open, we're open. So you'd send those photos in, an orthodontist is going to review it immediately. They're going to look at your clinical notes. So sometimes we may get a consult that says, hey, look, patient does not care about crowding. We just need to maintain space at number 13 for an implant. How long, right? Oh, okay, 5 months. If that's all you want to do. However, if you want to correct the bite, you want to alleviate the crowding, it's going to take 18 months and they're going to need elastics and they're going to need that. We give them that real-time consult that they need so that you can sit and talk to your patient and explain to them what their treatment plan looks like, how long it's going to take. The majority of patients want to know 3 things. How long is it going to take? Can you fix the problem that I have? And how much is it going to cost me? If you can answer those 3 questions, you can make it affordable. You can explain to them how long they're going to be in treatment and what to expect. You're going to start more cases. Your patients want it. Everyone's patients want to do it. Why do you think Invisalign sponsors the Super Bowl? Patients want to do this type of treatment. It's just a matter of whether you want to offer it to them or not. And if you don't, someone else will.
And Jay, how's the impact been on the patient side of things, besides the clinical and how you help doctors?
I will tell you this, here's some irony. I'm the only one in my own family that hasn't done any damn ortho yet. All 3 of my kids had it. My wife's had it. I'm the only one without it. When my son was going through ortho, his office was 30 minutes away, but every time I had to take him, which is every 4 to 6 weeks, I had to take him out of school, drive a half hour there. We're there for a half hour and 40 minutes, another 30 to 40 minutes home. He's got to stop and get his Mickey D fries as a reward. I have to take off a half a day at school, or I have to take off, half a day of work. He's out of school the whole time. And this is every 4 to 6 weeks. With our ecosystem, the patients get seen every week virtually. They have a device that they use. They attach the phone to it. They scan their teeth at home, left, right, up, down, open, close, liners in and out from the convenience of their own home. They can do it in their PJs. They can do it at 10 o'clock at night, and they're getting feedback from us so they know when they should change to their next tray. If they have hygiene compliance issues, we can address them. We even have the ability now, we can composite all of those scans prior with their original scan. And let's say Milad's not tracking 7 months in, I can prompt and make a new STL file, create a refinement, do the checks on it. The doctor reviews it and approves it. It's sent to the office. Milad comes in, they take his old trays off, give him his new trays, and he's on his way. When it comes to retainers at the end, same thing. We can make those STL files, make the retainers. Your patient comes in, you take the attachments off, deliver the retainers the exact same moment. It's about convenience for the patient. They get to see a doctor 70% more than they normally would, and they come in 70% less. We have tons of patients that may only come in for delivery, maybe a mid-course correction, and then debond. It becomes the most profitable thing that a general dentist does from a chair hour in their practice, bar none, unless you're doing all on fours and you're super fast. And your patients get all the benefit. So it's a win-win. I started that whole diatribe. I complained, I wish that had been available when my son was going through ortho, because it was a real pain for me, for my son. It was annoying as hell. And I wish that was available, then what we're doing now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's amazing. One more question I had, Jay. Before this podcast, you mentioned that your goal this year is to go to 50 states, maybe 51 states if Canada becomes one of your states. But
Well,
for
we're already
now,
in
we'll keep
Canada,
it
so
at
we're
50.
counting that one. We're in 2 provinces of Canada. We're in 20 some states. We're getting ready to actually start working with a doctor in Turks and Caicos. So I mean, it works anywhere. It's just a matter of, the challenge for us, the challenge for Perfect Fit, and this is kind of why I started Hot Wings and Dental Things, just exposure. Most doctors, majority of DSOs, small group practices, number one, they don't know that this is a service that even exists. That's the first challenge. And number two, they don't know why we're the best at it. 2% of doctors and groups that we explain our service to and how we do it and what it does for them and their patients sign up. So it's not a demand issue. It's just an exposure and getting out there. So the goal, to answer your question, is I want to be in all 50 states before December 31st of 2026. So if any of
Let's
you,
go.
anyone out there is listening and you think that you'd like to make a little bit more money and you're in a state I'm not in, I will bend over backwards, or I will send Milad to your house. I'll do whatever it takes to get into that state.
Well, tell me which state you're not in. I'll go by practice there.
I love it.
Are you guys in Phoenix?
No, you know what? We're not in Arizona. That's right. We're not there.
Hey.
We're in California. We're in Washington, Texas, but we're not there. So you'd be a bridge for us there. And then that would give me an excuse to come out there and lose some golf balls.
Hey, let's do it, man. That's going to be the next spot, Arizona. But no, man, I love it. I think that's one of the conversation that I was having too with Masood. I said Invisalign, the problem that we have with Invisalign right now is the fact that it consumes so much of our chair time as a dentist that sometimes when I get to the end of the procedure, when I'm done with the patient, I'm like, this was not worth my time because it sucks so much. So the fact that you guys cutting that by 70%, I think that's where it becomes real profitable from a business standpoint, because that patient coming in every 2 to 3 weeks to pick up those trays, look at it, suck that chair time and all that, I think being able to cut that down 70%, that's a game changer for sure.
And we're completely agnostic, right?
Yeah.
If the doctor comes to us and says, hey, what do you like clinically? We're happy to share that. If you come to us and say, I don't care what you like clinically, here's what I use and I'm happy, we're happy to keep using that for you. Our goal is just to be your orthodontist. We don't exist to sell aligners. I think my partner, Dr. A, saw a long time ago that when Smile Direct Club came into the space, it was direct to consumer. There was no doctor or clinical oversight. It fell apart as it should. But we took some of the things from that made sense and tried to make that a hybrid with the general dentist, right? You still own your patient. We're just there to help you get through the whole process. And we had a group that we worked with once. We talked with them. And we told them, look, we would love nothing more than to work with you, and we think you should. However, if you decide that we're not the perfect fit, just stop doing aligners. Just stop, because to your point, they were seeing these patients so frequently that by month 9 or 10, they started losing money on these cases. And I told them flat out, just refer it all out or work with us. Or if you find someone else that you think, a Costco brand Perfect Fit Ortho and you want to use them, but don't just stop if you're not going to make a change.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good analysis, man. McDonald's drive-through ortho.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
That's probably where the Smile Direct was. That's what they went out of business.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Well, that's crazy, man. That the Smile Direct, to this day, I still don't know how they came about. I still don't know what they were doing. It's one of those crazy things. The fact that you didn't need no clinical supervision and be able to do it, it's just, that's beside the point. That blows my mind. I don't even know how that's possible. Hey, that's why they went out of business.
Yep.
As far as the setup for the practices, what system do they need to have in order to use Perfect Fit Ortho?
A scanner.
That's it.
We started working. We worked with a couple clients who were still, they had rotary phones and were taking alginate impressions. That's a setup for failure for everyone involved. It just, it's 2026. You need a scanner. That's it. And it doesn't even matter what scanner it is, but alginate, no, thank you. We're done with that. But that's really it, right? We don't have we don't ask doctors to invest anything in us. And that's another huge point of this is it is risk-free. You could have a doctor take those photos, get the consult. The patient says yes, they agree, they sign, they pay. We do 17 different setups to get it right for us. Then we present it to Milad, the doctor, and say, review this and schedule a call with the orthodontist if you have questions. You can get on the video call and say, hey, can you do this in 20 trays instead of 60? Because I just don't want to do 60. And our team says, nope, it has to be 60. You could say, okay, I'm going to refer this case out. I'm not doing it. We don't charge you a penny. You only pay when you approve a case. So it's advantageous to you to just take as many photos as you can, get as many patients as you can that could benefit from ortho into that ecosystem. Because even if that patient doesn't start with you that day, our team is going to do all the follow-up on your patients for the next 90 days. So we will email them, we will text them, we will call them, we will review any clinical questions that they may have, review any third-party finance plans that you may be offering or that you offer through our software to get them to start treatment. It's a no-brainer. If you want to do more aligners, you want to spend less time doing them, and you want to make some more money in the process, we're the perfect fit.
Yeah. No, that's
Trademark.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, the name fits the model. That's for sure. The name fits the model for sure. But Jay, that's the thing. So how long were you in the military for?
12 years.
12 years. Wow. What was the motivation behind that?
I didn't want to pay for school, and football wouldn't pay enough. That's pretty much it. Right. I was on a half athletic scholarship and I didn't want to write a check for the rest of it. So I was like, sure, I'll go do this. Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty. I mean, I know everyone out there wants me to say, I bleed red, white, and blue and love America and bald eagle. I mean, I don't hate those things, but the motivation was college tuition.
Wow. Hey, man, I love the honesty because one of my friends taught the same thing. He graduated actually 2 years after me. And he called me 3 days ago. He's like, he went to dental school and the Army paid for it. Yep. And I was like, we were joking with him in dental school. I was like, man, imagine you graduate and you get deployed. He called me 2 days ago. He's like, I just got deployed.
Yep, it happened to me. Trust me, I was in a unit that had never been deployed. Like that was the unit I was in. And then I got out of AIT in 2002. And then by 2005, they were like, hey, spoiler alert, not only are we changing your job, but also you're getting deployed. And I was there for
Yep. He just got deployed to Kuwait. I'm like, have fun doing dentistry over there.
I had my wisdom teeth taken out by a dentist on base, and I knew nothing about dentistry back then, but they were all easily impacted. They were semi-erupted. I'm laying there. I'm just Novocaine, Subcaine, and the doctor says, or the dentist says, if you feel pain, I want you to, just raise your left arm. Okay, I'm trying to suck it up, and I could feel the tears starting to come down my face. I'm in pain. So I pull my arm up like this, and the assistant just goes and just pushes it back. I mean, this guy cranked on me with an elevator for so long, it looked like I had a baseball in my jaw. And then he tells me when I leave, don't spit, right? Don't spit, don't use straws, whatever. So I took that so literal because I'm just thick-headed, apparently. They were bleeding, and instead of even just opening my mouth and letting it fall out, I consider that spitting. So I'm swallowing all this blood and saliva. I wake up in the morning. I'm on a military base. I wake up in the morning. There's blood all over my pillow, and I'm 20 years old or 22 years old. Fast forward, the guy who shared bunks with me ended up working in dentistry with me. 10 years later, he needs his wisdom teeth out, and I have a friend who's an oral surgeon who's going to put him out. He'll wake up without teeth, and it took him almost 2 years to agree to do it because he was scarred by watching what I went through, and I was like, well, I'm not even as upset. This is crazy. I said, how many kids I would have punted to be able to be put to sleep to have these teeth taken out, and now you won't do it. Absolutely
That's
insane.
crazy. That's crazy, man. It's funny you said that. The first day we got into dental school, I never forget. It was our first day of dental school, and they showed us this picture. The guy is on top of a chair, old school, trying to extract the teeth, and they're like, "Welcome to dentistry." I'm like, "What?"
I'm not kidding. It bled for a week. A week. It bled. I was just like, this is wild. And now that I know what I know, it was a general dentist, just like, I mean, it wasn't, I mean, these things were impacted. Like they were touching, those second molars. He was just cranking down like he was trying to jack up a car, but he was doing it with an elevator. It was freaking brutal.
Well, how's your
Hey.
tooth feeling right now? Like the
What's
tooth
that?
you pulled out. How's your tooth feeling like right now?
I can tell you right now, like as we're talking about, I feel like they're, between my second molars are starting to tingle a little bit. Like I think I have PTSD.
So that's why you got into the wings game.
Yeah. Punishment, pretty much what it
Gives
is.
you a break.
That's funny. Jay, I truly thank you so much for hopping on, man. You're so much fun, man. Every time we
appreciate
hang
it.
out, you're just super fun guy. I love what you guys are doing with Perfect Fit Ortho. Hopefully, with DentMan, we can get you guys' name out there more. I'll definitely talk about you guys with a couple of dentist friends I have, because I think it's such a valuable thing for what you guys are doing. It's definitely a game changer from a dentist perspective, because there are cases that we cannot do that maybe we can do and keep it in house and keep that business going. But hey, Jay, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Great. I appreciate you having me on. And if the listeners get a chance, just check us out on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or MySpace or wherever else you listen to your video podcast.
Sure, man. Thank you so much.
It was a fun episode.
That's great.